see a lot of examples of people doing music in home studios or in studios at their house, shall we say, on YouTube. A lot of it is people making beats to sell in beat packs, people making music for videos or films, people making hip-hop music, and that's all fine. But the music that I wanted to make was, you might say, a little more traditional. I wanted to make music that told a story. I wanted to make music that had a variety of different instruments. And I wanted to make music in a variety of different forms. But, it's traditional music in the sense that it has many, many instruments that are out of the box, and that the music is lyrically driven. My first album has a variety of different forms. There's standard rock music, there's blues-based music, there's music that's more ambient, and there's also some music that's pretty much spoken word. All of it, the goal was to tell a story. And to a certain extent, the story in the first album is all one story. Although it's not really a concept album per se, it's all one story. The studio that I have was designed to support that. I have a freestanding studio. Obviously you don't need to. I've made music on kitchen tables. I've made music in friends' apartments. I've made music in hotel rooms. You can make music anywhere. But whatever you do, you need to have an environment that supports your work acoustically and supports your work artistically. And it's great to have a place that allows me to focus and has a great acoustic environment for when I'm playing acoustic guitars or when I'm doing vocals. I have a number of different instruments. I have some synthesizers, but I have a lot of in-the-box instruments as well. I mean, if you need a Mellotron, you don't want to go buy a Mellotron, for Christ's sake. But I have a fleet of guitars because a lot of my music is guitar-based, and while some people can play, their one Gretsch and get everything they want, I look at guitars as each having their own opportunities for creativity. And so frequently you're searching through different kinds of instruments for the right sound. Orchestras don't just have one instrument, they have a number of them. And so sometimes you're trying to layer these different instruments one on top of the other. My first album was a little clumsy, but what I did learn was I learned that I could focus, as I said in the last video, a lot more on performance and a lot less on production. And that would be my number one recommendation, my number one takeaway for you, is that focus on your performance, not on your production. Save the production for later. And if you can afford it, get somebody else to do it, because they probably will do a better job than you, and you'll be surprised. My next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about starting album number 2. But what I want to start with is that the first 2 tracks are pretty much done. I expected them to be easier than the first one, and as usual, that didn't work out because my expectations were higher for what I could do. All of my music practically starts with lyrics, and so what I'll do is I'll write a story and then I will craft music around that story. Not everybody does that. A lot of people do the music first, whatever floats your boat. But I tend to see the lyrics as the predominant driver in all the tunes. And so, with a few exceptions, I pretty much start with that. So the first 2 tracks are already pretty much in the can, and the next video we're going to talk about the 3rd track, and we're going to run through it a bit ideas and where I start with, and maybe a little bit of my challenges and frustrations with crafting an album. Cheers.